Hey everybody, I'm here at the pool at the gym. I thought this was a good opportunity to quick do this week's fail because my house has got quite a few people in it right now, and that's kind of what this particular fail is all about. This happens actually pretty frequently, and it's happening now as I speak. There's not a daggone thing I can do about it. For the most part, this has pretty much one simple lesson that I will share at the end. And it has nothing to do with the market, it has nothing to do with money, it has nothing to do with anything breaking in the house. It basically involves my own brain and attitude with dealing with cultural differences. I spent 30 years working abroad in high stakes jobs, and when you manage hundreds of people and millions of dollars in programs in very difficult contexts, you have to have clear communications, even in the context of and the risk of being shot at or not. You know, you live and die by details and meeting and planning. You plan, you brief, you act, and then you brief again, and you over-communicate. Over-communication is actually better than or under-communicating. And then you just keep planning again. And if something goes wrong, you have to answer to multiple people why something went wrong. And how did you miss it? Why did it go wrong? Well, life doesn't work that way when you're married to an Asian and you're living in the culture. I'm finding out very quickly. So when I retired to live here with my wife, I figured those organizational skills would probably make me the ultimate family member and the most efficient retiree. And I was wrong. I know this is kind of stupid to be putting my hand up, but I want to be sitting in the sun, and I forgot my glasses. But I was wrong, and it turns out trying to apply strict logistics and planning to Lao family traditions and culture is like trying to use an Excel spreadsheet to predict the weather. It just doesn't work. It makes you look crazy to the family, and it actually only ends up driving one person crazy, and that's you or me. So because of my work orientation, I'm hardwired to keep people informed, and if I'm planning a trip, I'll sit down and I'll walk her through the timeline, the budget, and the potential issues. And she's amazing about it. She listens to my 10-minute breakdown, smiles, and basically says, whatever you think, I trust you. She gives me total freedom with these types of things. But then there's the other side of the equation. Her and her family's innate nature is total zen and just being. There's very little planning in anything that they do. Lao culture is extremely beautiful, warm, and collective, but it also flies by the seat of their pants. So for a guy who needs an itinerary and doesn't like surprises, it's absolutely maddening. Because where I see the need for an agenda, they see a need for absolute spontaneity. They don't tell me anything. Here's a very real scenario on how Lao Logistics work out. Yesterday, just as we were going to bed, my wife casually says, my mom is going to come to visit. And I immediately think, in a week, a couple days or something. Tomorrow morning, the bus arrives around 5 in the morning, and she's already on the overnight bus headed this way. Just like that. I'm like, what? Yeah, she said she just decided she woke up and she was a little bored and she wanted to come in and see the grandbaby that lives in our house. My brain just starts kicking. I'm like, what time? Who's coming? Who's going to pick her up? And she's like, oh, I don't know the time yet. She'll call my sister. My sister will come and wake me up. She won't wake you up to go get her. And I'm still a little bit shocked by the news. You don't know the time, and she's arriving in less than 8 hours in the next morning. And then I ask the next probably ridiculous question is, how long is she going to stay? I don't know. This is the standard response. She looked at me like I just asked her to solve a calculus problem. Now, I don't have any problem with her family coming or her mom or anything visiting. They're the most considerate, generous, extremely polite people I have ever known personally this close. But it's always like this. They just basically show up on a whim, and it's a 14-hour drive. So when I wake up in the morning, I already hear Daw's back. I can hear her in the bathroom, and from picking up her mom, I head out to the kitchen to get my drink, and there was another surprise. Not only is her mom there, but a nephew, a niece, and her mom's sister. So that's 3 more people that were not even mentioned. I'm like, we went from one expected guest to 4 people. No warning, not even from my wife. And the real kicker is they don't just come for lunch. They move in. It could be days, it could be weeks. I just don't know. And they don't even know either. And the irony of this is I just had this conversation with my wife that I'd just like to be a little more informed about what's happening. I don't care what anybody does. I just want to know what's happening. She's really my only gateway into knowing what's happening in the family. And she still drops the ball. But to some of her defense, she says she honestly doesn't know. It's just how her family operates. It's just maddening to me, not in an angry way, but in a funny, kind of frustrating way. So aside from the regular screaming and crying of the kid that's living with us that I have to tolerate, the house is just going to be more full of life and movement. Don't mind her family, and I really love them. They're extremely quiet and respectable. The only real issue is just the surprise. It's the only real issue I have with it. Added to that frustration is that, my Lao language skills are in a work in progress, and it limits my communications, and I'm usually out of the loop. They kind of do their own thing, and I do my own thing, and, but I walk around my house almost feeling like a tourist in some ways. I'm literally a visitor in my own home, it feels like at times. One time her family of 6 showed up late one night. They just decided to take the 14-hour drive because the mom wanted to come see the grandbaby. So they all piled into the truck and drove the 14-hour drive. 3 of them slept on the exercise mats in the living room. 3 of the women slept with the baby in the bedroom. And the boys slept outside in the bungalow. We have a very small house, so this is still a lot of people in a very small house, even when they are quiet. Give you a quick glimpse. The entire pool, and these kids are over here screaming. They were already over there, now they're over here. So we have a small house. This many people are still not easy to walk around, even when they're quiet like this. So I kind of got used to them hanging around the kitchen and outside for a few days. And by the way, when they eat, they usually are sitting in the kitchen floor, taking up the entire kitchen space. So if I decide to go in for a drink or something, I gotta weave my way through them while they're sitting around on the kitchen floor. And then one day, I just wake up a little later than usual, and the house is dead silent. I walk out of the bedroom, and the 3 people who were sleeping on the floor are completely gone. All the sheets are folded up and packed and put in the corner. I asked, where did everyone go? And she said, her mom woke up that morning and said she's ready to go. And so they quickly packed up and left almost an hour ago. I couldn't believe it. No warning, no goodbye, no hugs. Just boom, they were gone, just like that. They just spontaneously materialized and spontaneously evaporated. I asked why, she just said, I don't know. Mom just wanted to go. When mom wants to go, they go. It's truly a matriarch. I laugh when I think about it. I like it, but it's still frustrating. I find myself getting genuinely frustrating and asking Dal, why can't anybody just give me a heads up? And her answer is always the same. Sometimes she just doesn't know either. Just that's how they move. Here is the real fail. The mistake isn't their lack of communication. The mistake is my rigid expectations. I'm not the boss of a country office anymore. I'm a guy who chose to retire in Southeast Asia and marry a wonderful Lao woman. And in this part of the world, family flexibility is the lifestyle. It's almost as if time doesn't exist. Life is truly organic here. Da regularly says she doesn't know the time, she doesn't know the date, or she doesn't know the month. For her, quote unquote, time just runs. Community and relationship take precedence over schedules. If a cousin needs a place to crash or indefinitely open, if it's time to go, they just go. My frustration is just the old work habit to control a situation that doesn't actually need controlling. So when the spontaneous family reunion happens, my brain treats it like an emergency instead of what it actually is. It's just life happening, and probably the way it should be. It's very beautiful, freeing, and fun if I let it go. So one of my goals this year was to let go and allow for life to just happen a little more. I wanted more spontaneity in my life, and I'm going to get it in spades here. So my advice to anyone who's looking to retire abroad or navigating a cross-cultural marriage, leave the corporate timelines and schedules at the border. If your in-laws show up unannounced and with 5 extra people, just go buy more beer, sit down, and enjoy the chaos. You'll survive it, and it beats sitting alone in a quiet house just staring at stock market charts. So my lesson here is simple. Chill the F out, dude. Take a chill pill. This is my mental problem trying to control things. Just plain and simple. My planning skills will kick in when they're required. Managing the money, our travel, and our official type of stuff, but the rest of life can just happen. Chill the F out. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and give me a like if you will. Have you ever had a massive clash between your old work habits and your new retired reality? How do you handle it when a life throws a schedule out the window? And just chill the F out, dude. Just chill out. And that's this week's retirement fail, so you don't have to make it. See you in the next one. And now the kids are gone to the other side. My timing is ridiculous.